Have you ever been around someone who is physically present, but emotionally feels miles away? They're there, they respond, they talk, but something feels missing. The connection feels shallow, distant, or hard to reach. And the most confusing part is, there's no clear problem, no obvious conflict, just a quiet feeling that something isn't fully there. Emotional detachment doesn't always show up in loud or obvious ways. It's often subtle, silent, easy to overlook at first. But over time, you start to feel it not in what they say, but in what they don't say, in what they don't show, and in how the connection feels overall. One of the first silent signs is a lack of depth in conversations. You may talk regularly, but the topics stay on the surface. There's very little emotional sharing, very little vulnerability. When conversations start getting deeper, they may change the subject, give short responses, or avoid engaging on a meaningful level. Another sign is inconsistency in emotional presence. They might be there sometimes engaged, responsive, even warm, but at other times they feel distant, distracted, or disconnected. It creates confusion because you don't know which version you'll get. This inconsistency makes it hard to build a stable emotional connection. You may also notice that they struggle to express their feelings. When you ask how they feel, the answers are often vague, limited, or avoided altogether. It's not necessarily that they don't have emotions, it's that they don't feel comfortable expressing them. So instead, they keep things inside, creating distance without saying it directly. Another silent sign is a lack of emotional reaction. When something important happens, whether it's meaningful to you or the relationship, their response may feel flat or minimal. They don't react with the same level of emotion you might expect. Over time, this can make you feel unseen or unimportant, even if that's not their intention. Emotional detachment also shows up as avoidance of vulnerability. When situations require openness, honesty, or emotional depth, they may withdraw. They might avoid serious conversations, deflect with humor, or simply shut down. This avoidance creates a barrier that prevents the relationship from growing deeper. Another key sign is limited effort in maintaining emotional connection. They may communicate, but without intention. There's little effort to understand you on a deeper level, to check in emotionally, or to build closeness. The relationship may feel like it's moving, but not growing. You might also feel like you're the only one trying to create emotional closeness. You're the one asking meaningful questions, expressing feelings, and trying to connect on a deeper level. Meanwhile, the other person remains passive. This imbalance can leave you feeling drained, confused, and even questioning your own expectations. Another subtle sign is their response to your emotions. When you share something personal or emotional, they may not respond with the level of empathy or understanding you need. They might change the topic, give a logical response instead of an emotional one, or seem uncomfortable with the conversation. This can make you feel like your emotions are too much or not important. Emotional detachment can also appear as a strong focus on independence. While independence is healthy, in this case, it can be taken to an extreme. They may avoid relying on others, avoid letting others rely on them, and keep emotional distance to maintain control. Relationships may feel secondary to their personal space and independence. There's also often a pattern of avoiding commitment, not just in a formal sense, but emotionally. They may hesitate to define the relationship, avoid deeper conversations about the future, or keep things in a state where nothing becomes too serious. This keeps them at a safe distance, where they don't have to fully invest emotionally. But here's the important truth. Emotional detachment is not always intentional. It's often a protective response. Many people become emotionally detached because, at some point, being open and vulnerable led to pain. So they learn to protect themselves by creating distance. By not fully opening up, they reduce the risk of being hurt again. This means that their behavior is not necessarily a reflection of your worth. It doesn't mean you are not interesting enough, not good enough, or not worthy of connection. It means they have emotional patterns that make closeness difficult for them. However, understanding this doesn't mean ignoring your own needs. If you value emotional connection, vulnerability, and depth, those needs are valid. And being in a relationship where those needs are not met can leave you feeling unfulfilled, even if everything else seems fine. If you find yourself in this situation, the first step is awareness. Recognize the signs for what they are, instead of trying to explain them away. It's easy to make excuses or hope things will change, But clarity comes from seeing the pattern honestly. The next step is communication. Express how you feel in a calm and clear way. Let them know what you need without blaming or criticizing. This creates an opportunity for understanding and change if they are willing. At the same time, it's important to be realistic. Emotional openness cannot be forced. If someone is not ready to open up, no amount of effort from your side can fully change that. And staying in a situation where your needs are not met can lead to emotional exhaustion. This is where boundaries become important. You have to decide what you are willing to accept and what you are not. You can care about someone and still choose not to stay in a dynamic that leaves you feeling disconnected. At the end of the day, a healthy relationship is not just about being physically present, it's about being emotionally available. It's about feeling seen, heard, and understood. And if that emotional connection is missing, it's something that cannot be ignored. Because you deserve more than just someone's presence, you deserve their attention, their openness, and their emotional connection. And the moment you begin to recognize the silent signs of emotional detachment is the moment you start choosing relationships that truly meet you, not just halfway, but fully.